Friends, yesterday we discussed something about the superconductors, and in that lecture, I told you about certain phenomena which are important to understand the behavior and the nature of the superconductors. And one of the phenomena was the Meissner effect. In Meissner effect, we saw the effect of temperature on the magnetic field. Today we will take another phenomena or another factor which is also very important to understand the phenomena of the superconductivity, and that is known as the critical field. What is the critical field? It is observed that the Meissner effect is only observed at low applied magnetic field. Please remember, the Meissner effect is effective only at low magnetic field. But when this applied magnetic field exceeds a particular limit, the superconducting state gets destroyed and the superconductor becomes a normal conductor. What does it mean? It means that when the magnetic field exceeds a certain value, then the superconductivity of the metal starts to destroy, and metal now again acts as a simple or normal conductor. This limiting value of the external applied magnetic field is called critical field. So what is the critical field? Critical field is that external applied field, magnetic field rather you can say, above which a superconductor again becomes a simple conductor. And this critical field is denoted by BC. B for magnetic field and C stands for the critical. And this value depends upon the low temperature of superconductor. If the strength of the applied field is increased and exceeds the critical value of the magnetic field, superconductivity breaks down and the magnetic flux lines penetrate the specimen placed in the magnetic field. So the magnetic flux which were originally repelled by the matter due to the Meissner effect, now when the applied magnetic field exceeds a certain value, since the superconductivity now is no more, so the magnetic flux, or that is magnetic lines of force, are now again start to penetrate the material which is placed in the magnetic field. It is observed that the lower is the temperature of sample, higher will be the value of the magnetic field required to destroy the superconductivity. It means when the temperature is very low, we require very high temperature to break the superconductivity. Means the applied magnetic field and temperature are inversely proportional to each other. Lower the temperature, higher will be the critical magnetic field, and higher the temperature, lower will be the critical magnetic field. If Hc in bracket T is the strength of applied magnetic field to destroy the superconductivity in a specimen at temperature T, then the difference in the free energy per unit volume between the superconductivity state and a normal state at this temperature is given by the energy density. What is energy density? Energy density is energy per unit volume. This is given by the following formula, as you can see from the following equation, that is ANT minus AST is equal to Hc square T upon 8 pi, where Hc, just I have told you, that is the applied magnetic field at temperature T. Now energy difference, which is called the condensation energy. This energy difference, that is the difference of A and T minus AST, is called the condensation energy. Dependence of this condensation energy on the temperature is given by the following formula, that is HCT is equal to HC naught in bracket 1 minus T upon Tc square, where HC naught is the applied field at temperature T, HC naught is the applied field at 0 degrees Celsius temperature, T is the temperature and Tc is the critical temperature. Next is the types of the superconductors. On the behavior of the superconductors depending on magnetic field, the superconductors can be classified into two types, or you can say type first and type second superconductors. First we will see the type first superconductors. In type first, in such type of superconductors, the magnetic behavior is of the nature as shown in the figure first. Now you can see from the figure first that on the x-axis we are having applied magnetic field, and on the y-axis we are having the magnetization. So as the BA, applied magnetic field, is increased, the magnetization is also increasing, which is shown by a straight line having the title superconducting state. Now this trend shows that type first superconductors are completely diamagnetic. Completely diamagnetic means they never allow the magnetic lines of force to pass through them, means they always repel 100% magnetic lines of force. Thereafter, as BA is increased, besides this, the change from magnetic to non-magnetic strength is abrupt. In other words, a superconductor which exhibits a complete Meissner effect or perfect diamagnetism for a bulk superconductor is known as a type first superconductor. So what you can say in short, that type first of superconductors are those superconductors which show complete Meissner effect or show complete diamagnetism. This behavior of the superconductor depends upon the variation of magnetization property M, that is shown by the capital M, of the sample as a function of the magnetic field. The magnetic field of induction B is related to the magnetization, as you must be knowing by the equation, that is B is equal to H plus 4 pi M. And for a superconductor, B is equal to 0 because no magnetic field inside the superconductor in the material, so B is equal to 0. So H becomes equal to minus 4 pi M. When BA is less than or almost equal to HC, then BA is equal to minus 4 pi M. And when BA is greater than HC, that is more than the critical field, then M becomes 0. It means the Meissner effect is applicable only at the lower temperature. Lower the temperature, Meissner effect is more effective. And as the temperature is increased, the Meissner effect also decreases. Also, when the magnetic field is increased, the Meissner effect also decreases. So this is called the first type of the superconductors. In next turn, we will see the second type of the superconductors.